Welcome to Escape This Podcast, a show that's a mix between tabletop role-playing and escape room puzzles. This is the 10th episode of Season 13, because we've been doing this for quite a while.
It's right near the end of the year.
It is right near the end of the year.
And you know what that means? It means that I've stopped working.
No, you're working hard on the Christmas
Other
room.
things.
This episode, we have something that we've done once before. We're trying to clear our backlog of people who've contacted us about rooms that they wanted to run or that they wanted us to run. And so a little while ago, I ran a room for you, Dani, which a fan had sent in, 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know what else happened 3 years ago?
What's that?
A different fan sent in a different room
no.
for us to run. So I'm going to run that
one. No as in, oh no, I don't want to be getting these. Oh no as in, please don't tell me. It's been 3 years.
It was sent in on the 10th of, it's been almost 4 years.
Oh,
It was sent in January 2020.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
And we never did it.
So if you don't think that we're replying to you, if you've emailed us at any point, yeah, this is what happens.
We're just bad at our jobs. If you think we're bad at our jobs, you're right. This room was written by a fan of the show, Megan Forsthöfel.
Or Megan.
We've
been discussing how universal these pronunciations are.
I'm so sorry. But I'm going to say Megan Forsthöfel.
Yeah, we always pronounce it Megan here.
And I'm very excited to run it. I've had a read through it. I've had a look through. I'd made a couple of tiny tweaks.
Just like, not so much tweaks, just like wording changes and
things
so
that I'm sure that if Megan was running it herself, she would do, but was just not fully clear to me. So it's mostly notes to myself of like, this is this, and add a little word here that I'm sure was already in actual original runnings of the room. And I did a slight change of some art for the final puzzle. I did some new art, so I made that myself.
You're always looking for an excuse to do more art.
It's not good art, so not really. Last time, you did this by yourself. You played the room alone.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The time before that, we had a guest join you. And we're going to bring a guest on again. So we have a returning guest.
You don't have faith in me to do this.
I have no
alone.
faith in you.
Yeah, this is fair.
But I have all of my faith in Matt Yule. Welcome, Matt.
Oh, hey. How's it going, everybody? Thank
Long
you
time
for
no
having
see.
me by. Yeah, long time no see, hardly. It's been so long.
It's been a couple of weeks. Welcome back to the show. Now, obviously, mostly you come on this show with Chris Yule, with your brother, as part of Finish It as a podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
And I don't even think I need to ask you to explain what Finish It is for people at home. I'm sure they've heard you many times on the show, but maybe give a quick rundown for anyone this is their first episode.
Okay, yeah, cool. So me and my brother read interactive fiction books like Choose Your Own Adventures, that kind of stuff. We each read a book once a week, and then we tell each other our stories. And that means it takes forever and ever to read the whole thing because we're reading every single page and missing nothing. And we kind of get a little mad by the end. And it's a good time, fun time with segments and quizzes and goofy songs. And
yeah, it's a very good show.
It's great, and recommend everyone start from the beginning. It gives you the full descent into the madness of it all.
Yeah,
but also it's just very funny. I've re-listened to episode 1. It's a good first episode of a podcast.
There you go.
Minus segments and quizzes and stuff. But
that's true. That takes a bit to get going.
Being dumb for sure.
So every episode, we have the same questions for our guests, which is weird because Dani, you've been on every episode, and Matt, we've asked you these questions 100 times, but we'll cover any fun little differences, which is it's an escape room show. Let's have some updates on your escape room experience. And the big update is Dani and I and Matt have done some physical escape rooms together since last week.
Have we not recorded since we did that?
No recordings. At least not on our show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we did a couple rooms here in Portland. It was super duper fun. In Search of an Exit, is that what they're called?
Absolutely fantastic escape rooms, world-class escape rooms in Portland. It was so much fun. I can't remember, had you done physical escape rooms?
I think one.
At least one.
You've done one before that?
I did one with my wife and her family. That was it.
Well, now you've done 2 more with us.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you've gone out since then and done 800 more all across America?
That's exactly correct. I've traveled the country the last couple of weeks.
Doing nothing but escape rooms.
Just escaping rooms, yeah.
Your family's calling you. It's Thanksgiving. Where are you? I'm in New York.
I can't
There's
talk.
3 escape rooms today.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to your mom. Wonderful. And then the other element of the show is it's escape rooms, mixed with tabletop role-playing. Do we have any fun updates to our tabletop role-playing experience that we wanted to share with the world?
We've played one session of D&D.
We did play a session
Recently?
of D&D the other day with some friends.
That's about it.
You were a fighter who was not so successful in a local fighting championship, and I was your
It's a
coach.
perpetual fourth placer.
I finally got to play a character I'd always wanted to play, which was a bard, but in universe never does any music. There's no music to the bard. All of my like bardic inspiration is in the form of a Rocky style
Quotes
coach
and
being like,
motivational
"Come on, get in there,
speeches."
kid! You gotta duck and weave, get underneath him." And that was it. I just played that character for a session, which was great fun.
How about you, Matt?
I don't think I've done too much. Chris and I live streamed one time playing Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't really think that counts exactly. We're kind of gearing up to do something, but not till January, and that's at this bar in my neighborhood that has dungeon masters in the bar, and they can run games with you and stuff. It's pretty neat. A place called Total Party Kill Brewery. They even have themed beers for events in their games. Pretty nuts.
It's super cool that exists.
Yeah,
You literally go and you meet in a tavern.
it's true. And it used to
That's
be a
perfect.
bakery, so there's this huge like oven that does not work right now. But it looks like a for real like Dungeons and Dragons tavern. It's pretty great.
That's wonderful. With that all said and done, I think we're good to start the episode. And usually this is where I say, Dani, take it away, but I have to take it away, which is
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
crazy.
I felt ridiculous coming into this recording, knowing we were doing this today, and just going, I have nothing to prepare. This is unsettling.
All right. Now, I have two notes.
Ooh.
One
Ooh.
from the author of the room,
Great.
Yeah.
one from me.
Mhm.
The note from the author of the room is there are some items in this room there are like multiple clues or multiple ways to interact with the items.
Okay.
Well,
So
Good to
don't
know.
necessarily think if I've done one thing with something,
We
I've
won't
done
throw it away.
every possible thing.
Okay.
And my note is, I didn't write this room, so if I get incredibly confused and tell you the wrong things, you'll have to forgive me. I've read through it, I've done my best, but sometimes it's tough when you haven't written it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
fair.
As I'm sure a lot of our listeners know when they try and run rooms that
I
you've run.
can only imagine.
Okay, here we are. This is the room, Bluffer's Point Lighthouse. It feels like you've been on this boat for ages. Why did you agree to take on a case with the Coast Guard? You hate sea travel. But they're paying you pretty well. You just hope you'll be on land again soon. So, you say to the friendlier of your two Coast Guard escorts, got a debrief of the case for me? Well, he says, the light went out a few weeks ago, but Captain Feldman stopped responding to our radio communications at least a month ago. We sent someone out to check on him, but he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere? There wasn't a note or anything he left behind? Nope. Not a trace. Huh. That doesn't sound like Captain Feldman at all. He had only gotten the position a few years ago, but you've hung around enough fishermen to know he'd become a bit of a celebrity among the sailors of Maine. A bit of awkward silence follows, until your other escort says, "Looks like a nasty storm is on its way. I'm not from Maine. I'm from a different place."
Mm.
You look over your shoulder. He's not kidding. Vicious grey clouds have pushed their way over the horizon. You hadn't noticed them before. They blended in with the choppy waters. You hold a hand over your mouth, trying to keep your stomach settled through the jostling ride.
That sounds like me.
Not a moment too soon, you see a lighthouse appear out of the fog, and you hear the waves crashing on rocks. It's not the most welcoming sight, but you'll take anything that will get you off this boat. As you step off onto the rocky shore, your escorts have already started to push off. "Sorry, man," one says as you look back at them. "We can't stay and wait for you to be done inspecting this place. We need to get back before we get caught in that storm. Just dial into the Coast Guard radio station when you're done. I'm sure Captain Feldman has, or had, one."
Radio.
Yes. "Good luck," the other says. You watch their boat sway off into the distance. You clamber up the rocky shore covered in a slimy film of algae and seaweed, careful not to slip. You quickly find yourself at the base of the Bluffer's Point Lighthouse. You step inside, eager to escape the biting wind, and find yourself on a stone brick landing with a large, fancy 3 carved into it.
Oh. Where is this 3 carved into? Or like the wall? Of
Yeah.
the
So
wall?
it's like you've stepped into the building, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say at your feet
Okay.
The stone sort of entryway that you're standing
Now,
on.
should I
There's
start
a big
drawing?
fancy 3. Please draw yourself a circular lighthouse building.
A circle. Ridiculous.
I know. Well, you can make it a square lighthouse if you want.
How do you even draw a door in a circle wall?
You just build it. There's a bunch of open wooden stairs directly in front of you. It's a fairly narrow staircase.
Does it go around and around, or does it just go up and
Yeah,
down?
make it go round and around.
Yeah,
No.
it goes around.
This is not drawable.
What do you mean it's not drawable? You draw a line next to the wall, and then you put lots of horizontal
Next to a
lines.
wall?
Yeah, make it just like spiral up or something.
You said
I'm
right in
doing
front
it.
of me.
I'm
There we
doing
go.
it
It's a
staircase.
question mark.
It's cool.
Perfect. As you're taking in your surroundings, a strong gust blows by, and the door slams behind you,
Yikes.
sending the whole place into a grey darkness.
Typical.
Ooh.
You might be stuck here a while, but at least you're on solid land, finally.
Mm.
You suppose there's no better time than now to get started on the case.
Oh, that's all we've got. We've just
Yeah,
got
but there's-
staircase and 3.
And the door and, I suppose, the walls themselves.
Oh, wild. I mean, looking for a missing man. Are there any missing man signs that we can see? Anything that looks like a good place to start?
Like, what if there was a shoe? Maybe it was that guy's shoe. Is there a
Right?
shoe?
There's no shoe.
I knew it. I had a feeling there was no shoe.
Ha ha ha, listeners at home, they didn't ask about whether there were any socks.
Is there anything on the door that's slammed behind us?
It's a sturdy wooden door. It's definitely made strong. You can see from the light pouring in around the edges that the door is pulled slightly past the archway. It's jammed, definitely. You can't open it by hand.
Oh, no.
'Tis but a door, as they say in Maine.
Is that a thing they say in Maine?
Yeah, those Mainlanders, they're
Yeah, I
weird.
knew it.
I didn't mention this at the start. Do we also need to acknowledge in any way the fact that we were clearly brought here by pirates impersonating the Coast Guard? Do you think that's relevant?
I'm sure it was the actual real Coast Guard.
Okay, is there anything interesting about this 3? I'm pretty into this 3.
It's like a big 3. It's kind of boxy and very fancily carved.
Oh, okay. Interesting. It feels like we're not being left with much choice but to go upstairs.
Yeah, I think maybe we should go upstairs.
You go up the narrow stairs. They spiral away to the top of the lighthouse. It's pretty dark in this entryway, but the narrow stairway makes it fairly easy to navigate. You put your hands against the wall to keep yourself steady and make your way to the top. Along the way, you feel your hands passing through lines of water dripping down stone bricks.
Ew.
You make it to the top and find yourself inside the lighthouse. It's a circular room. The floor has a large pattern around it. Almost all of the wall consists of windows, except there's a small section made of stone bricks directly across the room from you, so probably on the north side.
How funny.
On the left side of that wall section, there is a door inset.
Ooh, okay.
To the right of that door, there is a dresser with drawers. On top of that chest of drawers, there is a mirror and a radio. Further to the right of that dresser, there is a bed. And then a little bit in from where the bed is, there is a pair of chairs and a table, as well as a small fridge. On the opposite side, so I'm assuming this is sort of the western side of the room,
Okay.
opposite where the bed has and fridge and stuff has all ended up. On the opposite side is a desk covered in papers and a desk lamp. And in the middle of the room is a great cylinder that houses the giant light bulb.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really leave room for that. That makes sense.
There is a small panel of levers that sits just in front of that light bulb facing you. The room seems to have acted as Captain Feldman's living quarters as well as his office. There you are. Feel free to investigate.
Yeah, we got a lot of
and figure
stuff
out what's
now.
going on.
Yeah, we do. Do you want to start with the desk?
Makes sense, yeah. Desk had papers on it. Papers are usually a good start.
So it's an old wooden desk. It's probably been here for ages. There's a bunch of scattered papers on it. The only space not covered in scattered papers is covered by a desk lamp. There's also a simple desk drawer with an old brass handle.
Is the lamp on?
So this is a strange lamp for Captain Feldman to have. It's one of those lamps that has bendable posts, so you could position it in sort of any way you want. The lamp has two shades, has two kind of lamp sections to it, but neither is pointed at the desk itself. Instead, they're pointing directly opposite each other, parallel to the desk surface, with one side pointed sort of straight to the north wall.
Are they honourable?
They are honourable. Nothing happens when you turn them on.
No,
But we now are a little bit more in the light than we were.
I suppose that's true.
That's helpful.
that's nice. Are they shining on anything to the north or south?
You examine where they're hitting the wall to the north, and there's nothing notable that this lamp illuminates.
Mysterious lamp.
And these papers?
So they're all covered in sketches, but it's a bit confusing and all over the place. You can't quite tell what they're supposed to be. Each one is labelled with a date in the top corner. One says February 4th, another March 2nd, then January 9th. Then they start to get weird. There's an August 0th,
Oh no, that ruins any plans I had.
November -2nd, May -3rd, December -5th, September -8th, and two of them simply say Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh. No numbers for them?
No numbers.
Oh no. Well, yeah, that seemed like it was starting out very normal and reasonable and then went wild.
Hmm.
Does that mean anything to you?
It does not.
I was going, great, 4th letter of February, 2nd letter of March. January, I don't know if it's got 9 letters yet. We'll get to that. And now it looks like there was no need to get to that. Interesting. Anything about the sketches or nothing much to make of them yet?
If you knew more about them, maybe if you might be able to get them in a sense that makes them seem reasonable, but for now they don't seem to make a huge amount of sense.
Okay. So far, this desk has been a big old bust, but there is a drawer. Let's find out for sure before we're truly disappointed.
Yeah.
So you open the drawer, or you at least
We'll try to.
Yeah.
You try to open the drawer. You grab the handle, you give it a pull, and it opens.
Lovely.
There's a nasty scratch along the bottom of the drawer, from edge to edge. It's pretty jagged, occasionally wandering up, sometimes dipping down. There's also something golden on a chain in here. It could be a pocket watch. It's sitting on top of a notebook, maybe used as a diary, with the initials JB on it.
JB? I don't know who
JB.
that is. How many names does Captain Feldman have?
Yeah.
I mean, at least one. It's Captain Feldman.
Can we grab the shiny thing?
Yeah, you can grab it.
What is it?
Have a look at it. You try and open it up. Okay, no, this is it's a compass.
Okay.
A
Oh, wow.
simple gold compass. But it doesn't seem to have a pointer on it.
Oh.
Just the directions painted around it, each painted in a little triangle. There's a series of triangles going around a central ring, and you see them, or the directions painted on it. It also has the initials JB on the back.
Okay. Does it look like there should be a pointer on it that I could
Yeah.
click in at any point, or does it just look it wasn't part of the design?
Almost looks like it wasn't part of the design.
Okay. Useless. Junk.
You said there's a diary in there?
There is.
We should totally read this JB's diary.
Are you sure that's not intrusive?
It is intrusive, but we're investigators, so it's allowed.
That's what we do.
It looks pretty worn and loved. The cover looks like it could come apart at any moment. The rest looks fairly well kept and legible, however.
Can we keep reading it?
Yeah, so you open it up and read through, and there's a lot of entries in this diary, and a lot of strange-looking entries.
Ooh.
There's scribbles and scratches and sketches and a whole bunch of things. The pages are numbered. Some of them appear like they've been ripped out. But without knowing exactly what you're looking for in this diary, it's going to be hard to make sense of it.
Say no more.
Are they the same size pages as the papers on the desk? Were they
Ooh.
ripped out of this and
They don't seem to match the sketches on the desk.
mysterious?
Does the handwriting match the sketching on the desk and the dates and things that we see there?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, it does. I mean, to the best of your understanding, you didn't finish your class in handwriting analysis because while you were in forensics
That's
class,
when they debunked
the concept of handwriting analysis, and so you sort of stopped turning up to classes. You did technically get a passing grade, but only because you'd done so well in your initial assessments. But it's been 15
Nice.
years since you were at the academy anyway.
But we did good. We got good grades, though.
Oh, other than that, yeah, you did quite well. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, good to know.
Oh, well, that changes everything. Do we need to take a look at these buttons? I don't have much else drawn on the left of my image, so it feels like we throw the whole desk out a window and we look at these buttons on the console that seems like it controls the big light.
Yeah, let's make the
Okay.
big light go. Do they say
Yeah,
anything on the
is the
levers
big
and stuff?
light going?
Big light is not going.
Well, this seems like a
Oh,
problem.
should it be?
You see a ship coming dangerously close to shore.
Oh, no, we
People
should
are
have looked out the
screaming.
window first.
So you're heading to the panel?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a large rectangular panel with slightly curved corners. It only has 2 levers on it. One is labeled L. The other is labeled M.
Do they go forward and backward, or they go like side to side, or they just go? They're up
Forward
and they
and
go down, or
backwards.
are they in the middle and they can go forward or backward, or are they in one side already?
The more detail you ask for, the more inaccurate my picture becomes.
I know, me too. I'm getting really frustrated with my bad pictures.
How afraid should we be of messing with these levers?
Yeah, do they look scary or do they look fun?
They look fun. They don't look that scary. And also, they look very uncomplicated. There's basically like, you can go between on and off effectively for each of these levers. There's not like multiple settings or ups and downs or left or right. It's just activate.
All right, well, assuming that L means light, how many crashes could we possibly cause by turning it on and off again?
Yes, yeah, just turn it real quick.
It's Morse coding a letter I. I don't think that will confuse anyone.
So you're gonna pull the L lever.
Yeah, let's do that.
The light turns on too easily. You may not be a mechanic, but you're pretty sure that there isn't anything wrong with this light.
Sweet.
Oh, whoa.
Why did it go out? Did Captain Feldman turn it off himself? Because, as the Coast Guard mentioned, it has been off for like
A couple of weeks, yeah.
Why would he do that? You don't know. It seems to be perfectly functional. The light is now on.
So the light went off a few weeks ago, but he stopped talking to anyone like a month ago, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Presumably he was still here messing with the light at that point. He just got mad at the world. That sounds like a lighthouse keeper.
Yeah, they're grumps.
I assume that's why they take the job.
What do you think the M does?
What do I think the M does?
You could have a look at the light.
I can have a look at the light. That's going to help.
You can't
No,
look
let's
right
do-
at the light.
It's illegal. Let's do the M lever first and see what happens. See
Yeah,
if we
let's
can
find
figure
out
it out.
the fun way.
Okay. You pull the lever labeled M. You see that the light, which, as you refused to note earlier, has a large metal cage around it
No, that's
that
how I do it.
directs the light in different directions. You see the metal cage start to move a little bit. It begins to move and then it shudders back and forth a little bit.
Oops.
It looks like it wants to move, but is there something jamming it?
It's a mystery forever. Let's move on. Just kidding. Is there something in there jamming it?
You have a look at the mechanism above the light, and you see that there's a piece of paper that looks like it's been crumpled up and jammed somewhere in the gears that help rotate the metal.
What?
It's just a little bit too high, just a little bit out of your reach.
It's an impressively strong piece of paper if it's jamming up metal.
You know how gears be.
Those old
Of
lighthouse
war?
gears. Can we take one of them chairs and stand on it and reach it if we have a chair?
Yeah, you
We're
grab
two
one of the
people. Can we
chairs.
use shoulders?
No, there's only one of you. You grab the chair
Oh, dang it.
and you turn the M lever off, so that when this
Yeah, that's
starts
probably
up,
a good
you don't. This is an OH&S check.
This feels like we would notice.
And it's a bit
Whatever,
of a
it's
fight.
not my lighthouse.
It's a bit of a fight, but eventually you get it out. It's a page that looks like it's torn out of something. The page number 5 is circled. The writing on the page is too small and it would take too long to read it all. It's quite a compact,
Been there in escape
odd
rooms.
script. But you get the gist by scanning through. It seems to be Captain Feldman nervously rambling. You don't know what he's talking about, but there's some mentions of the FBI and the government. He mentions his duty and following the law.
Whoa.
For a moment, it gets philosophical, with Feldman discussing the effectiveness of justice and fairness. Then it goes into a childlike tantrum with him ranting about it all not being fair.
It's about the pirates in the Coast Guard, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Does this look like it came out of the diary?
It does. This looks like a page of the
Whoa.
diary, and if you try and find page 5 in the diary, you see it is not there.
Well,
Why
we put
is
it back in there.
Feldman
to set-
JB?
Why is
What
he
are his
writing in
names?
JB's secret diary?
Yeah, right? On page 5 at that? Unbelievable.
Journal boy. Maybe he calls himself Journal Boy.
I didn't consider that. That makes sense.
We cracked it.
All right, well, Is there anything else in
Signed,
this?
Captain Feldman, your journal boy.
Anything else on this side of the room worth looking at? Should we start walking to other parts of the room?
Yeah, let's do that.
As we do, can we stare down at this patterned floor?
Sure, you look at the floor. It looks like it would be a beautiful floor were it not for the dirt and scuff marks that seem to completely cake parts of it. You can tell there's some kind of pattern around the outside and drawn on the floor itself, but you can't quite piece it together.
How much cleaning solution have we been told about so far? I don't recall
Maybe it's
any.
a supply closet. Should we check the door and see if it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
supply closet?
That makes sense. That seems appropriately optimistic. Let's go to the supply closet door.
So you head to this door in the north wall. It is a heavy-duty door,
Nice.
and it's locked. Needs a key.
Oh,
Hey. Do you have that, Matt?
I don't, but I bet it's under the pillow on the bed that I drew on the bed.
Great. Let's go to the perfect bed.
So you head to the perfect bed. It's a typical bed.
Perfect.
It does have 4 posts. So,
Yes.
Danny, you've done well with your drawing. It's a 4-poster
Oh,
bed. It's got a
man.
pillow, sheets. Minimalistic, but it looks comfy enough.
We rustle and ruffle.
You rustle and ruffle.
Yeah.
You don't find anything
Hmm.
under the pillow or under the sheets. You have a look under the
Right.
mattress.
Yeah.
And all you see really is the bed frame itself. It's made of strips of wood that are holding the mattress up. They're all stuck into the frame, kind of almost like a log cabin sort of thing, where they're not really nailed in. They're just sort of all supporting each other. So they
Cool.
kind of look like you could remove them fairly easily if you needed a wooden plank.
Okay. How big was that keyhole again?
It's the size of a wooden plank.
Brilliant.
What?
Anything scratched or carved into any of these, and anything under the bed itself. I don't know how explory this one is.
There's nothing underneath the bed other than seeing this bed frame. You do, if you look for scratches, see that all of the bedposts have, I suppose, a line carved around them to make like a full circle line near the
Oh.
top. Except for one. One of them, the line isn't fully complete. It ends in a picture. It's like a rough sketch of a ghost.
Oh, what?
No.
That's weird.
We
That's
did not
pretty
sign on
weird.
for ghosts.
Should we remove this log from the bed and look at it more closely, see if it opens up or anything, or are we afraid of it?
I'm too scared because it's got a picture of a ghost on it.
It's a little weird.
Maybe we leave it for now and just remember there's a cool picture of a ghost there.
This seems irresponsible.
It does.
Let's remove that post from the bed if that's doable, and just give it a bit of a more thorough shake-up.
While the bed frame parts seem fairly loosely connected,
This isn't one of
the
them?
posts themselves are sturdily structured and drilled into the frame, so you can't remove a post.
Whatever. That's upset me enough that I need to go to the fridge.
And it's a small fridge. It's scratched and worn. It looks like it's been here a while. It has a handle like a fridge would.
Hmm.
Does it look like it has a ghost in it?
There's only one way to find out.
Oh, let's find out. Can we open the fridge? Let's open the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
You grab the handle of the fridge. You go to open it. Should be simple enough. It's a fridge.
Yeah.
But the handle
Done
pops
it.
off in your hand.
Oh.
Oh, man.
The fridge is still tightly sealed shut, and now there's a flat piece of metal where the handle was.
Yeah.
It has a small hole in the center of it,
Ooh.
which you can't seem to match to any of the screws in the handle. It doesn't look like it was used to keep the handle attached. Obviously, the hole wasn't meant for a screw.
Do you think it's like something, some other sort of handle that we've got to attach in there, or
Yeah.
something that we poke in there? I've done that
Can we open
once.
the fridge door without the handle? Like, just pull it open, or does it need to?
It feels
Clunk,
like
clunk.
it's tightly sealed. You would expect you could usually open a fridge without the handle, but in this case, it doesn't seem to budge.
Have any of the other handles that we've encountered so far feel like they come off and would go in?
No.
Okay. Well, good. Obstacles. Let's keep looking. Where to next?
We should take the doorknob off the locked door and then use it on the fridge, and that would solve both problems.
That's what I was thinking.
Can't be done.
Oh, man.
Table, and we've already used one of the chairs to great effect, but tell us about this table and chairs.
So the chairs themselves, they're wooden chairs. They're very sturdy, which you've discovered yourself by standing on them earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The table, it's a simple wooden table. Although it does have an artsy N scratched into the surface of the table.
It's an end table. What about on the underside of the table? Anything there?
No, you search around the table, under, over, through. There's nothing there.
No more ghosts scratched into the legs?
No, not a single other one.
Well, I think I've heard that ghosts hate mirrors, so maybe we should go and look at that chest of drawers that we saw.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a beautiful dresser. It has 4 drawers.
Oh.
3 of them are unmarked, but the second from the top has a nice pattern carved into it. Fish jumping between waves.
That's cute.
Fish jumping between waves does not strike me with any knowledge yet. Now let's check out the mirror.
The mirror is somewhat grimy, but it's still a nice mirror. The frame is wooden and quite decorated, covered in swirls and patterns. The top of the frame, those patterns seem to look like a big swirly W.
Interesting. So we've got a W. We've got an N. I've drawn a 3 that looks a lot like an E. We've got a 5, an L, an M, and a JB. There are letters and numbers all over the place. We got a compass, that's all letters. And there was a radio on here as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an old radio. It seems to be playing some random station. It's repeating the same message in a computerized voice. Look for weather. Through fog. Water choppy. Logged reports. Stare out.
Do you notice anything about those messages? That message?
No.
I do
Look
notice it mentioned the word log. And we've heard stuff about logs. And that last one, stare out. We do have stairs.
Yeah.
There's something going on here. And maybe the solution is in the drawers.
You want to look through the drawers?
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
You go through the drawers from top to bottom. The drawers that are unmarked,
Yeah.
they all open. They're filled with clothing. It feels wrong to rummage through a missing man's clothing, especially since you don't have anything that you're actually looking for specifically, so you leave it alone for now.
Mm-hmm.
The marked drawer, however, you can't open it. It feels like you start to pull and immediately it gets sort of caught or locked, but it doesn't feel like it's going to open.
Okay. And it's
But
not
it
like...
is like a real drawer. It's not like under the kitchen sink where it looks like a drawer, but it's a fake drawer.
No, it seems like a real drawer.
Just one.
Is there any sort of, people can mess around with drawers, like they open up the one on top and pull it all the way out, now you can get into that one?
That's a very fair thought because the other drawers open, but this one, the drawers are like built into the dresser entirely, so
yeah, they know what they're doing.
There's wood between each one.
Okay. Jammed fish.
And none of the fish carving with the waves.
Poke the fish.
Yeah, that's the one that doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah, there's nothing to poke or move or.
Oh,
no secret
you
buttons.
run your hands over it, you try and poke at it. Nothing seems like a hidden mechanism on a puzzle box or anything like that.
All right. Well, I'm on the plus side. We don't have too many more things that we can possibly look at. How's the view? Check out these windows.
Stare out.
Exactly.
Look for
Look for weather.
You can see all the way around the lighthouse with these windows. Well, almost. There's that one section of wall.
Course.
Mostly, you can see lots of water, as well as the occasional rock jutting out. Out in the distance, you can just barely see something red blinking out in the water. You also see that the outside area just below the window, there seems to be a balcony as part of this lighthouse.
Oh.
But you don't know how to get to it.
It doesn't look like that's where the top door goes?
It might be where the top door goes.
Intriguing. And from there, unless we're like looking at the stone wall itself, is there anything to look at with that?
It's made of the same stone bricks as the stairway.
Great. And how about the stairs themselves? Stare out. Were any of the stairs out?
You look at the stairs. None of the stairs are out, because I don't know what that means.
Maybe we broke one on the way up.
Yeah, you look to see if stairs out means anything. Nothing catches your eye as
Stairs look like normal stairs?
They look like stairs.
Interesting. All right, I feel like I'm running out of things to look at. Matt, do you have any others that I've missed?
Not that I can think of.
These windows don't, open, do they?
No, the windows don't open. They're all solid glass. They're basically glass walls rather than windows, I suppose.
Right. Well, my current fixation is this dirty floor.
Yeah.
Fair. It is a dirty floor.
I want to clean this floor. Now, somehow we got covered in muck and algae on our way up here, and the stairs were dripping. Are they dripping enough water for us to collect and clean a floor?
There is definitely a fair bit of water dripping onto the stairs. You know, it looks like in some places it's almost like warping the wood a little bit, but not enough that you could collect and clean a floor with.
Wait a second. Matt, what are the first words of that radio message?
Look for weather.
Not the first word of every set of instructions that it gave.
Oh, look through water-logged stair.
You said that some of that water was going onto the stairs. Is there a particularly waterlogged one?
There's just enough light for you to notice there's sort of 5 pairs of wooden steps that look pretty soaked with water. They do look like waterlogged stairs. You peer down into, see if you can look through them into the cracks between the stairs. It's just a little too dark. The light is on upstairs, but I think that metal cage might be in the wrong way because you never turned it back on after you.
What?
Oh yeah, we fixed it, so now we can leave it on because it'll just do its thing, right?
Let's lever those levers.
You head up back to the light, you pull the M lever, and the cage starts to turn. It turns at a somewhat controlled pace. You could turn it back off again to set it.
Oh, yeah, right, when it's facing
to
at the
stop
stairs.
wherever it's facing something. So you can stop it right where it's pointing right at the stairs.
That's my plan.
You notice the way this is constructed, actually, as it turns, it has an opening on 2 opposite sides. So as it turns, the light would be directed in one direction and the opposite direction.
Interesting.
So as it turns, the light is heading...
Much like the lamp with its double shading.
Yeah, a little bit. In fact, when you set it to focus on the stairs, you notice it's facing
Matching the
It's
angles?
matching the angle of that lamp perfectly.
Crafty.
One side facing directly down onto the staircase, and the other side facing directly onto that piece of stone wall.
Whoa.
So you head down to the stairs to look at these waterlogged stairs. You look down the cracks between each pair of the waterlogged stairs, and you can just make out some symbols carved into the stones below the staircase. And I have an image of these symbols.
Okay.
I believe this is the only image for people playing along at home.
Matt, I'm looking at the computer at a weird angle, so you might have to do the describing.
Sorry.
All right, no problem.
So there's an image for people at home if you'd like to look at it, but Matt will describe it.
All right, I love these.
And I've sort of conglomerated the 5 images together.
Yeah, they're one above each other. There's 5 little sketches. The top one is a lighthouse, and it's got little, like when you draw a line to indicate light is coming out. Below that is a boat with a sail. Below that is a scale, like the scales of justice kind of scale, you know?
It's measuring fleas by the looks of it.
Yeah, small piles of small little teams of fleas on either side,
no.
but it's even.
But the biggest flea has fallen out.
Yeah, there's a little flea what fell out.
There's a black dot that matches the things that are being weighed that is just
that are
to
also
the kind
black
of bottom right of
dots.
that image.
If that's relevant, that is subtle.
Yeah. And then below that is an open book. And then below that is like a little rectangle of metal, maybe with 2 screws in it, one on the left, one on the right.
Oh, they do look like screwdriver head screws.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say this is a cassette tape looking.
It looks
scratch.
it's a cassette tape, which is clear to me now.
Oh, yeah. It's just been a while since having a look at one of those things.
Yeah.
Unlike a screwdriver screw head. Well, we've seen some of those things. I'm pretty sure we've seen a lighthouse, at least. We've certainly seen book. Other things less familiar. All right, well, that's curious. I've had my big revelation. I interpreted the radio. From there.
Yeah, pretty good.
Where are you feeling?
Okay, so the other light is pointing just at that wall, but is it illuminating anything in particular?
So you look at the stones of the wall now that the light is shining on it, and the light is catching on one of the stones at sort of the top of the wall. It looks wet and it's a little bit too high to reach.
Say no more. We take the fridge and we climb on it.
Using your trusty chair. You get a closer look at the wet brick.
Sweet.
You notice there's a high-pitched whistling coming in around it. the mortar is crumbled and loose.
Is it fingernail dig-inable?
It's fingernail diginable. You pull the stone out of the wall. It comes out smoothly. It's been carved out. And inside, you see there is a folded up piece of paper.
Wait.
It's another page of the diary. This
Whoa.
time number 7, which is also circled, just like page 5.
Right.
It's a back and forth between nerves and excitement. One moment, Feldman will ramble about all the new things he needs to learn, about how it's all too much. The next moment, he talks about how thankful he is. Then he gets nostalgic and lists everything he misses, his books, his dog, etc. And then he goes back to celebrating the success of his big bluff.
His big bluff?
His big bluff.
What is that? Did I miss? Is that a thing I know about?
You don't know the context for that.
Except the title of the room. Faintly relevant.
Oh,
True.
yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to guess he challenged some ghosts to a game of chess.
Seems right.
That's when you bluff. What on earth should we look at as far as all this stuff goes? It's got a lot of objects. Okay, fish drawer, table with N on it.
So you mentioned the 3 on the floor downstairs, and there's the N, and then there's the W on
Yeah.
the mirror. So that's a west, and then what I drew is the north, and a north, and the east, and the east, and the south. Does that make sense?
I understand what you mean. Yeah, in
Like,
your current drawing, the W that should indicate west is in the north of the room.
Yep.
The
And the N is in the east of the room.
east of the room.
So
and
it's
the-
in the right places, but if you've only rotated
That is
it
true.
a
Wow.
quarter.
That's interesting.
We don't have anything indicating a south yet, right? Or unless we just missed something on the desk, I guess. Or maybe it's in...
If you have a look back
Oh,
at
is
the
that
desk,
what that squiggle was in the drawer or something?
no, that
Ah.
doesn't look like an S at all. But if you start to clear up some of those pages that are sitting on the desk, you notice that underneath there is an S carved into the surface of the desk.
Okay. As far as we know, does this match what the actual real world directions are?
No,
Huh.
in fact, as far as you know, they don't.
What a freak.
And that compass thing we have, is there... What does that look like again? It's just the...
It's a little handheld compass, and it has the markings for north, south, east, and west in the appropriate places on a compass, in little triangles around a central circle, much like a
Yeah.
compass often has. But it has no pointer.
And there's nothing else on there, just the north, south, east, west.
Oh, it says JB on the back.
I mean, we've got that mystery note with the lighthouse sailboat scales book and cassette on it. And we've still got all those weird nonsense dates.
You do?
What could they be that has a 0 involved in it? And then also just a random Wednesday, Thursday. So that, like, I could almost visualize it as change. Like you go forward 4, forward 2, forward 9, don't change, then back 2, back 3, back 5, back 8. Is it going to be worth my while writing out the numbers of the months?
It may well be. It often is in a puzzle.
Hmm. So, like, February 4th, I've just got 2-4. Then March 2nd, 3-2, 1-9, 8-0, 1-1, -2 or -2, 5, -3, 12, -5, 9, -8, WTH. What the hell?
So obviously by themselves, that doesn't seem to make much more sense than the original thing.
Unless it's a really large subtraction. Like 24,321,980.
Different minus signs.
Oh.
There can be lots of minuses in one maths equation.
There could be, I suppose.
-2, 5, -25, -312, -59, -8, Wednesday, Thursday.
I suppose.
It's perfect maths. And like as subtractions, they do work. Like 11, -2, 5, -3, 12, -5, and 9, -8. They work. Suppose I'll write down what they give me, but I don't know if it helps. 9, 2, 7, and 1. These are more numbers, all right.
No, probably not. Can we, if we start moving the pages around, can we figure out what the picture is, or do we need to figure out the
No,
numbers? to figure out the- it's too weird.
you'd have to kind of figure out how to put them together to see what it all is.
Yeah, they are not in month order as we've gone through them, just as we found them. I don't know if I see anything if I rearrange them, because it's not like there's a first month, second month, third month, fourth month. We don't have a fourth month. So, like, should I make the first one a 6 and then a 5 and then a 10 and then an 8? Still just gives me numbers that I don't know what to do with.
So what have you just done?
I just took the first ones and they didn't have minuses, so I just plussed them instead. I don't think I've got a plus symbol, but it's the opposite of minus, so worth a shot. And so, yeah, now I've got more numbers.
What numbers do you have?
6, 5, 10, 8 for those ones. And then 9, 2, 7, 1. Yeah, I'm missing a 3 and a 4. Does that mean the Wednesday and Thursday correspond to 3 and 4 in some manner?
Wednesday and Thursday being 3 and 4 makes some sense.
It's not unreasonable. But
As days of the week.
sure, but why would it go up to 10 if that's the case?
Start from Monday.
True. That is true. But everyone knows in Maine they start on Monday. That's why they call it Monday, Maine.
As well they should. So now, if we consider the Wednesday and Thursday 3 and 4 in that order, we have basically the numbers 1 to 10, not in order, but that's the order that we should be examining them in some fashion?
You give it a try. You take the sketches and you sort of put them all from order 1 to 10.
September the -8th would be number 1.
Yes. So you place them in the order the September sketch, then the May, the Wednesday, the Thursday, March, February, December, August, November, January. What a ridiculous order. But now that they're in order, you sort of see the similarities between these images a lot more clearly and how they change from one to the other. It's almost like a sort of a 10-page flip book.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Love a flip book.
You flip through it and you sort of see what each of the sketches show. It's a boat that gets closer and closer.
Oh, no, that's not what a lighthouse wants.
It's a boat slowly getting closer and closer, and as it does, you start to see a small group of people on it, pointing at you.
Whoa.
At the very end, letters begin to appear on the boat,
Whoa.
one at a time. First R, then H, then O. It spells out Rhode Island Coast Guard.
What?
Wait, that's a lot of letters.
So I suppose it's
A
probably
couple
more
at a
than
time.
there must be a few sketches each with these dates on them to get enough pages to make this appear one
It's
at
a
a time.
magic sketchbook.
It's a magic
That's
sketchbook.
true. I am getting magic vibes.
It spells out Rhode Island Coast Guard. Rhode Island, but
a little near Maine, I guess.
yeah, you're off the shore of Maine. Why would the Coast Guard send people from Rhode Island out here? You start wondering about your escorts, and now that you think about it, their uniforms had Rhode Island flags on them. Huh. Maybe they're just
I wouldn't know
filling in
that.
for a while? So this got you a little bit more information about sort of a meta mystery, but nothing actionable in terms of the room.
I mean, and based on where I started with the whole piracy thing, I'm not surprised by this at all.
Yep.
This makes perfect sense. But, okay, frustratingly, we did a lot of work and we got some good story, but not a next move.
No.
Which thing should we be looking at? Is there anything weird about the handle that we pulled off the fridge?
No, the fridge
Yeah.
handle, there's nothing odd about it. It's got some, like, weird crud on it.
Yeah, everything in here seems to have weird crud on it.
But you realize, actually, that came off your hands.
Yeah.
Because
Ew.
it's kind of like that, you know, that old leathery, like, book
Yeah,
grit?
that's nasty.
Because you got it off that diary. It has that cover that's just completely coming apart, and it looks like it's coming apart onto your hands a little bit as well.
Nasty. And I feel like you're telling us this for a reason,
Yeah.
but
I
I
just
do not
hate diaries.
I do not know why book grit could be useful to us. That's a tricky one.
Yeah. I
Can
guess
I look at the diary cover with a bit more intensity?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you look at this diary cover, and the cover looks really worn, like it could fall apart at any
Yes.
moment, like a thick cover as
I
well.
I do recall you saying that, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
that's books that you read a lot. That's very normal. But now you're saying it again.
Yeah, you poke at it a little further, and
Yeah.
it feels lumpy, and there might
Should we make it fall apart?
Yeah, let's make it fall apart.
You tear it apart. You tear
Whoa.
the cover
Whoa.
off the book apart, and you notice that like a key falls out of it.
Ooh,
Sweet.
that's actionable.
Well, okay, you say key. It definitely looks like a key, but it doesn't seem to have all of the hooks and the nooks and the crannies of a key. It's kind of just a straight stick, like a little metal
Good.
rod.
Even better.
Yeah.
We can get into the fridge and get some nourishment.
Yeah.
I poke it into the fridge hole.
You poke it into the fridge hole. The fridge opens up,
Great.
It looks like it clicks in, turns, and the fridge unseals. And now you can just
Sweet.
open it with your hands as normal. Inside, you find tuna, water bottles, some pickles. You hope. This stuff hasn't been in there a while, so hopefully it was meant to be a pickle when it went in. And at the very back of the fridge, in what must be a terribly unsanitary habit, floor cleaner.
Oh, I was just going to use the water for that. Or the pickles.
Pickle
Yeah, let's
water
use the
is
pickle
pretty
brain.
good. Did Captain Feldman go senile? You're starting to think this might just be a case of an old man getting too old. Sad, but a realistic theory, I suppose. But yes, there is floor cleaner back here.
We should totally clean the floor.
Yeah, this
Just in
makes
case
sense.
he comes back while we're snooping around.
It's true. And
Brilliant.
it'll make up for all the upsetting thoughts we're having about
You
it.
pour some
And then
cleaner
what we
onto
did
the
to his
floor.
bed.
You pour some cleaner onto the floor. Congratulations! You've made a puddle of floor cleaner.
Excellent.
Yes.
You realize, however, the floor cleaner doesn't clean on its own. You got to put in some elbow grease. What can you
Bedclothes.
You know what? Ideally, it was going to be clothes from his dresser, but bedclothes is perfectly fine. You grab the sheet and the pillowcase, and you
And the
clear
pillow.
off the floor.
What are spare sheets for? You don't replace the sheets on your bed.
Yeah, you just
You
use
have
it to
one set
clean
of
the
sheets for
floor. And you
bed.
throw them in the bin.
One for cleaning.
You clean the floor with the sheets and floor cleaner, and after all the grunge is cleared off, you can see that you were right. There is a pattern stained into the floor.
Nice.
There's a sort of a dark circle that has a picture of a key inside of it. And then on the outside of this circle, there's a bunch of triangles pointing outwards from this circle that has the key inside. You're pretty sure it's supposed to be a compass? And yes, that does match the design of the compass that you've had this whole time.
Yes.
You notice something else that doesn't match, though. On the ground, there's a large sort of oblong shape, like a big rectangle with rounded corners, which is what I picture when I say oblong. I'm assuming everybody does. And it's got sets of sort of hash marks inside of it. From left to right, they're grouped together. 4 hash marks, then 2 again, then 2 again, then 4, then 2, then 4. They alternate between 4 lines and 2 lines, grouped up in this rectangle.
That's curious. So clearly this goes with the compass, and now it's just, does it just go with the compass, or is there something else that it goes with? Like oblong brick with hash marks and numbers on it.
Yeah, it's sort of like a rounded rectangle shape.
I remember the levers had the rounded rectangle
Oh, did they?
because
Yes,
that's what I drew.
the panel that the levers was on was, yeah, it actually looks like a very similar shape, possibly even the exact same size.
Interesting. That didn't occur to me. Okay. How do we 4-2-2-2-4-2-4 with the lever panel?
Yeah, you got 4 lines, then 2 lines, then 2 lines, then 2 lines, etc.
Just going to be like flashing the light that many times? That feels like not impossible, but I don't know how to flash a light 4 times and then pause long enough to flash it 2 times.
Yeah, not knowing how long you'd have to do between it, and the fact that they're separated is a little tough to go 4-2-2.
We can make it spin around 4 times. And
This
then
is also
stop
true.
and then
Yeah, it is hard.
spin it twice.
Because there's not much to do on the panel. There's just like an L lever and an M lever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we've been given some pretty clear indication that it's relevant. What happens if anything happen if we bring our compass closer, we hover it around? Anything magnetic going on there that has any sort of effect?
The compass doesn't seem to interact with the panel in any way. And in fact, the 2 designs on the floor seem to be on opposite sides of the floor, rather than like right next to each other, for example.
Feeling like it's telling me I gotta smash the compass, and I don't really want to do that. Should I want to do that?
You sort of jiggle the compass a little in your ear, and you can. It sounds like there's something in there, but you know what? You can try and smash it. It doesn't smash.
Yeah, I'm not that good at smashing stuff.
But yeah, you kind of rattle in your ear a little, and you notice there might be a key in there, but there's definitely other interesting mechanical things going on in there. You also remember something when you were cleaning this section of the floor, that over this compass pattern, it's sort of in the northeast section of the room, just a touch north of the light. And it looked like there was a bunch of extra grime here, and some algae. There's sort of almost like there was like algae and water and dirt that had coalesced more here than in some other places, as if someone had been standing here for a while.
Well, fair enough. There's a balcony door there. You leave that open, all the grime's going to get in.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror was also kind of grimy. Can we do any cleaning of that?
No, you can't. It's quite high up, the mirror.
What?
It's on top of the dresser.
Oh, I thought it was removable and like holdable.
Yeah, you can get but you reach up to get it. It's hard to clean.
This dresser is a lot taller than I imagined.
If you pull it down, you could probably give it a clean, but nothing much happens. You
Okay.
stretch up to get it back on top of the dresser.
We have two things floor pattern wise. Now, just to clarify, did it feel like those two floor pattern things, the one that looks like the compass and the one that looks like the panel, did it feel like those were connected to each other?
No, they seem like two separate ideas that you've uncovered.
That's something at least. So, as far as the compass one goes, and so we've got a compass.
You have a compass.
That doesn't point anywhere. We've got this floor design that matches the compass and indicates that a key is going to happen or be required at some point with this. We have some extra floor grime in the north of the room, which is where we found a mirror that said west, or presumably.
The floor grime is basically where that image was on the floor.
Right.
So it almost like someone had been standing there for a while.
Okay. Cool. So they had been standing on the compassy bit. And yes, we also have these objects that we found around the room that have potentially these letters of north, south, east, and west on them that were not actually in the north, south, east, and west. They corresponded to it if we turned 90 degrees, though.
Yeah.
So we go up to that grimy spot where we found the picture of the compass. We've got our compass.
I mean, I guess we can look at it, like hold it in the direction that the room with the letters.
You try and sort of take it and point it so the north is facing the north and the south is facing the south. You also notice that the mirror is sort of high up to the west, and the east symbol is on the level below you.
Oh, so we tilt it?
Oh, yeah.
So you sort of tilt it at a strange angle so that it's pointing almost up towards the west one and down towards the east one.
We left the light on. We're going to get blinded by this thing.
Yeah, you tilt it enough, the light shines off into your eyes, you're blind. So you'll have to do the rest of the room pure audio, which will be a completely different experience. And once you get it into that exact layout, it suddenly, click, you see something inside, it pops open. And inside, there is a small key.
Okay. We have key. Does it look like key to door?
It does look like key to door.
Key open door to.
Key to door open.
Balcony.
Pull door. As you pull the door open, you notice there's something fluttering around caught in the hinges of the door.
Ew. Is it a ghost? It's a ghost.
It's another page of the diary. Same handwriting as all the others.
Right.
It's page number 1, and that 1 is circled. On this page, Feldman seems incredibly calm and hopeful. He goes on and on about his dreams for the future, the peace and freedom that he feels up in this lighthouse. A lot of the entry is Feldman simply appreciating the view. At least someone enjoys being out here. Stepping outside, you discover a wraparound balcony. Now that you're a little closer to the ocean as well, you can peer over the balcony and get a better look at that red dot in the water.
Yeah.
It seems to be a buoy.
Okay.
And you can see it in the
Somebody save him.
buoy to
some
you
people.
Freaks in different countries who have slightly different pronunciations of words. A buoy or a buoy. You can see more detail on it from here. And also you can look down and you can see the shore of where the water meets the shore.
Right.
And there's kind of algae all covering that area. And also there's something else. There's a shipwreck right in front of you.
Oh, oopsie.
Well, yeah, this was awkward. Someone dropped the ball here.
So yeah, those are a few new things to look at.
All right, tell me about this red boy.
So the red boy
In the water?
is in the water, and he says, "I'm a little demon. How are you?" The red boy. It's mesmerizing to watch. It tilts to the right, then dips down, then it tilts left, then it bounces up, then it sort of straightens out, and then repeats. A fairly repeating pattern. And now that you're outside, you can see more detail on it. There's a logo on it, the US Seaboard of Maine, and below that logo is a picture of a fish jumping out of a wave.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, how did this thing bob again?
It went tilt right, then dipped down, then tilted to the left, then came up, then straightened back out, and then started again over and over again.
Now, I don't know how to jiggle a drawer like that, but I feel like I'm being told how to jiggle a drawer.
Yeah, we could jiggle a dresser.
You go to the dresser, and you find the door labeled with the same label as this boy, and you jiggle it in the exact method I just laid out, tilting right, pulling,
Yep.
going down, then tilting left and up, then straightening out, all that sort of stuff. You push an angle, etc., etc. And once you've done all of this, it opens up easily.
Excellent.
It slides
we've all
straight
got
out.
a drawer that you got to do some weird trick to.
And inside there is a whole mess of things. There's a driver's ID, a passport, both of which have the name Jonathan Bunham. But the picture looks like Captain Feldman.
What?
As well as some money, some old pictures, a couple of drawings that look like they've been made by a young child. And there's another page of the diary ripped out. This time page 3, and the 3 is circled. This page has an incredibly cocky tone. Feldman was definitely feeling an abundance of confidence. He talks about the FBI, something about written confessions and audio tapes, and a fellow witness he convinced to talk. There's also a small section about threats, but then he talks about special protections being put in place.
He was the pirate all along. I don't know how I didn't see this coming. Well, that was exciting stuff. And we've still got a bunch of things outside. All right. Well, the shipwreck is kind of substantial. Is there anything else just about the general outdoor setting?
Look, you can see that the coastline covered in algae.
Yeah, right.
It's a line of algae slime that's being pushed up onto the rocks by the waves. It's like a jagged sort of line staggering up and down, likely due to the choppy waters.
Huh. Interesting. I have feelings about that.
Does that look similar to the crack in the drawer?
Looks very similar to the crack of the drawer. They actually seem to
What?
follow the exact same path, almost like the crack in the drawer is a diagram of the coastline.
All right. I know what I have to do. I take some of the algae from my hands that I found on the way up and I smear it in the drawer.
Don't worry, it's fine. Nothing. Now you have an algae drawer.
That's okay.
So no, you can't. There's
Cool.
nothing. They definitely seem to match, but not in a way that makes you go, "Ooh, a puzzle that I've solved." More like
Pretty
there's
curious.
a connection here that might help you later.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think it's
Shipwreck o'clock.
yeah. No, there's no way to put it off. You finally stop averting your eyes and you look upon the shipwreck.
Sure.
It was hidden behind the wall, but now that you're outside, there is no missing it. It's a bit of a strange boat. There's 4 masts, but they aren't lined up like a normal ship. Instead, they're almost like in a box shape. They make like there's 4 of them, almost like in a rectangle shape.
I don't know enough about ships to know how abnormal that is. I'll take your word for it.
3 of the 4 are definitely weathered. It's a wreck after all, but they look stable enough to hold up what's left of their masts. The 4th, however, in the top left, well, it has a crack all the way around. It looks like it could split open in any minute.
Hmm.
And another curious thing, you can't seem to see a captain's wheel anywhere on the ship.
That's good because I certainly didn't draw one.
Well, good, because you can't see one.
What can we do with an about to crack sail? I mean, we have been told about that. We had a suspicious picture of a sailboat, but I'm not sure how to engage with that just yet.
As you lean forward to get a better look at the ship, you notice that you, standing in front of the door, had been blocking some light that was coming out through that stone that you removed earlier.
Oh,
If you remember that you pulled a stone out of the
right. We
wall.
were
Yeah.
shining light right on it.
So the light is shining onto the shipwreck. So you scooch aside a little and you let it shine down onto the ship, and you do notice something. The stream of light lands right at the bottom of that top left mast.
Okay.
And there's an image of a man? It appears to be some kind of trick of the light. It definitely looks like some kind of ghostly captain.
Ghost?
He seems to be stuck in a loop. He continually turning a steering wheel. He does one full rotation clockwise, half a rotation back, just over and over again. Full time clockwise and half back. Clockwise, half back.
I think we should
Oh.
go to the bed and do that to that ghosty posty.
Oh, that's interesting. Does Ghosty Posty rotate?
You go to the bed, and similar to some kind of bed knobs and broomstick style post, it does seem to have
Really?
the top can rotate a little bit. You start to turn
Nice.
it. You turn it clockwise, and then half back, and then clockwise, and half back, and then clockwise and half back, over and over again, and it becomes looser and looser.
We
Eventually,
summon you.
it comes right off. The post is hollow inside, and you can see a rolled up piece of paper.
Excellent.
The page number 6 is circled. Scanning through this one, You can hardly understand anything Feldman is saying. There are way too many mentions of conspiracy theories for your comfort. Every few sentences, he goes off on a tangent and you lose his train of thought pretty quickly. There's lots of talk about boats and radio chatter. The whole page is the written version of like a red string clue board that crazy people have in their basements. And that's all. Just another diary note.
How many have we got so far? We've got 1,
5, I think.
1, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. All right. Well, that was certainly intriguing. But where to next?
We got those hash marks on the...
Oh, you're right. I'd forgotten about those already. What do they mean?
If there's 2 levers, is 4 like do both levers 2 times? You know, like clonk clonk, and then no.
No. It is. Look, it is true that you've got 2 letters. You've got 2 levers, one labeled L, one labeled M, and then all you've got to kind of figure out how to interact with these is 4 little hash marks, little straight lines, and then a series of 2 little straight lines, and then 2. They're just 2 or 4.
Is there any way that we should correspond the numbers 2 and 4 with these levers? Is one of them labeled with a 2 and the other a 4?
I mean, really, the levers are labeled in the most
Just
simple
L and M.
The simplest, like, geometric L and M you've ever seen.
Now, L does take 2 lines to create, and M does take 4 to create.
Look at that. Hey.
So maybe it's something like that?
You try with that understanding that the M is the 4 and the L is the 2, and you take the levers.
I look like a person. You know how in TV shows you can always tell when someone's not typing because they're just, I feel like that's what I'm doing when I move levers like this. And the left one, the right one, and then the left one 3 times, and then the right again.
Exactly. So, look, you've got to be a little careful. It's kind of disorienting because, as we've already figured out, the light works perfectly. It was kind of odd that the Coast Guard told you or said that they sent someone in to inspect this place after he'd gone and check out on the lights because they didn't find out that the light was working. I mean, I guess that's why they're Coast Guard, not detectives. But it is purely functional. So you get a little bit of like a flashing light going on. But you go M, L, 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 M, L, M. And you...
This is so much multi-level marketing.
Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you hear a loud click. And the front of the panel swings open.
Oh.
The levers fly out of your hands.
The lighthouse falls over.
There's a small compartment in this panel, and it holds a book titled The Mysteries and Mirages of Maine.
M. All right, is this a readable book?
It is.
In particular, if we need to know what we're looking for, anything about ghost pirates.
You flick through and... Oh, you do see there's something about ghost pirates.
Hell yeah.
And it's also set here in Bluffer's Point.
Do they disguise themselves as Rhode Island Coast Guard people?
It catches your eye almost immediately. The ghost captain of the post ship 1903, Bluffer's Point. You never knew this place had a ghost story. The passage, it looks as if some letters have been scratched out of it.
No way.
But you can read it fairly easily.
Yeah.
Could you read this passage?
In italics here?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, there are a couple of like hyphens to indicate missing letters. I'll do my best to fill them in. So upon, I'll make an when I'm filling in some letters to the best of my
understanding. What
understanding.
letters do you fill in there?
The P. On the craggy rocks of Bluffer's Point sits the sad wreck of the post ship, tattered and abandoned for years. It is considered one of the most unique naval structures known, and it is an ongoing debate as to how it functioned. It has been said that the crew, doubting the abilities of the boat and its captain's sanity, took off in the middle of the...
your sanity.
Oh, how am I going to do this one? Of the night...
Night with a G missing?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Leaving the sleeping captain to crash into Bluffer's Point and drown. Many locals say to hat... In certain light, the captain can still be seen to this day, trying to fix his demise, standing at his wheel to steer his ship away from Bluffer's Point. I think I made that perfectly clear, but just in case I didn't, I'll go through the words that had missing letters. The first word, which I am taking to mean upon, had a missing P. Following that, possibly the word sad with a missing A. From there, I'm going with the word ongoing, missing a G. Functioned, missing an E. The, missing an E. Captains, missing an I. Night, missing a G. A real painful one. That, missing an H. Also not great to try to say. And trying, missing a T. Which, fortunately, if we just write out those letters, seem to say something.
And what is that?
Page 8.
Now, I feel like we did not already find a page 8. Does the diary still have its page 8 in it?
You go to your diary.
Great question.
Well, it's not my diary.
You go to your diary.
My diary
and
is
on
in good
page 8
quality.
it says, "Dear diary, I'm a bad detective and I hate the ocean and I don't like coast
no
guards and
way.
things." Oh, on page 8 of JB's diary.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it's covered in tiny. Oh, this is. I'm going to preface this, everybody. I'm going to leave this in the episode. I really like what's coming up. I think it's really fun. It's covered in tiny lettering from top to bottom, and it's pretty mundane stuff, like records of tides and boats and mechanical checks on the light. Wasn't that great, everybody? I love it. No, that's not what I was talking about. When what Captain Feldman ate that day, observations or dreams. Amidst all that scribbled chaos, however, there is something that catches your eye. It's a boxed off section titled Missing Me, and it consists of 6 lines. Would you like to swap off reading them? Maybe, Matt, you can start?
This is...
Number 1. This is awfully weird. When you're sick, you're aging quickly. Examine yourself in bad jams. Give cozy vibes, please.
Number 2. Keep up the good attitude. Every time you excitedly jive, you make me smile big at your zany quirks, but no flexing.
Number 3. Always stay cautious with your wits about you. Ask Zach. Vast fog and damp can jam your fox quills.
Number 4. Be on watch for any vexing tides zooming up rocks. Just react quick.
Number 5. You can always be more specific, except when zeroing in on quiet ghosts and dangerous jokes.
Number 6. You can try all you want, but zilch is simply a box of vain nothing. Quitting is kingly if his crown is a jar of dirt.
So, very nonsensical sentences.
Yes. And yet when I saw the words excitedly jive in the second one, I got a faint idea, and I haven't tried it out yet, but the wording is so bizarre that I feel like it's not a bad idea. Did you get anything from this, Matt?
I liked the phrase excitedly vibe. I also like cozy vibes, but no, I got nothing.
So it was called Missing Me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of letters here. In particular, a lot of the less common letters. The good Scrabble ones, as they're known. But I wonder if there are if these are pangrams missing some letters. Like all the letters of the alphabet minus 1 or 2.
And for people at home who don't know, so a pangram is a sentence that has every letter of the alphabet.
It's a quick brown
in it.
fox.
Quick brown fox, some sort of lazy dog.
Sphinx of
quartz, judge my vow.
Yep.
All these sentences that have every letter. Well, that's interesting. Well, why don't you try it out? Does
All right.
one have every letter?
Matt, you try your first sentence.
No,
I'll try
do the
my
first
number.
one together.
No.
Danny, it's an
We've
audio
gotta save
medium.
time.
Danny, it's an audio
Yeah,
medium.
seriously.
Please do the first one together.
Whatever. Okay. Aging. It's got an A. Does it have a B?
It's got a B. It's got a C.
This could take a while, you see.
Give it a crack, just for one.
C, D,
I don't see a D.
Okay,
You
that's
see
a good
D?
start.
Do you not see a D
I don't see a D.
in the first sentence?
I don't see a D in the
In number
first-
1, you don't see a D?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I see a D. There's a D in bad.
Where?
That's my
Bad?
bad. There's
Okay.
an E.
F. I don't see an F.
Do you not see an
I
F?
don't see an F. I don't think there's an F.
Yes, yourself.
Dang it. No way. Are you kidding?
Examine yourself.
G.
Yeah,
give.
you really do need to.
H. When. Quickly. I. J. Jams. K. Quickly. L. Quickly. M. Examine. N. Examine. O. Yourself.
Cozy. Yeah.
Q. Does this one have a Q? Quickly. R. Yourself. S. Yourself. T.
Oh.
Is there no T? Is it T?
What's the likelihood a sentence doesn't have a T? Surely there's a T in there. No.
Wow, that's a whole lot of words for there not to be a T, and to
There's
just
no
not notice
T.
that there's not a T. Wow.
Now, just to be clear, U is there. V. Vibes. W. When. X. Examine.
Examine, yes.
Y, U, Z. Cozy. Okay, it was just T. Okay,
That
just
has
one missing.
every letter of the alphabet other than T.
But now,
So now you understand at home what's going on.
here's the problem. We've got sentence number 2, which is labeled with a 2. Are there going to be 2 letters missing? How hard do we have to work for each one? Or now that we know that sentence 1 had 1 missing letter, is it all going to be 1 missing letter?
Why don't you find out?
All right, we got to work hard with question 2, I guess.
started working. There's no H, so now I'm going through the rest.
Okay.
What did you say there was none of?
H's.
There's no H in 2, is there? You sure of that?
No, I'm never sure of that. It's got the word
there's
the.
no H.
It's got the word the at the start.
Oh my gosh.
This is so hard. This is my job, is to be like, oh, really?
Wait, we're counting the word the as a word now? Okay.
KLMNO P Q R S T U V.
I'll just stop there. It feels like it has all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see a W. That's good. That
Yeah,
can
it's
go
gotta be
after
W.
T.
There is no W in sentence number 2, or couple
X.
sentences.
Y. But
Okay.
there are an X, Y, Z. So, okay, that was only 1 letter. Maybe it is only 1 letter per thing. I will be happy with that if that's true.
A, B, C, D.
Oh, I don't see an E. Have they managed to do no E? I like that.
That's really good.
Lovely. I, J.
Maybe no
Okay.
G in 4? No, there's a G. My
Oh, you
bad.
don't think there's a V? A G? What about vexing? Fool. You're looking at 4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could go back
You found
to
the
3,
J.
but K. L?
L?
I don't
L?
see an L.
I don't see an L.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna guess with only 6 letters, that feels like only 1 word, so I'm guessing I know what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
But let's double check. Do we see a V in number 5?
I don't.
Beautiful. And then do we see an E in number 6? 2
sure
different lots
don't.
of things without E's. Dingity
Yeah,
dang.
that's amazing.
Well, you know what they say, Dani. You can try all you want, but zilch is simply a box of vain nothing.
Okay, 12. Does this mean we go to page 12 of the diary now?
You can head to page 12 of the diary. And I just wanted to say, I really love that puzzle.
That's really good.
You turn to page 12, but it's missing.
Rude.
Well, I mean, half of it is. The bottom half of the page has been carefully ripped out. And on the remaining top half, Captain Feldman rants about some rock alcove that he saw at low tide. He wanted to check it out someday. Said it would be a nice place to rest and watch the tide come in. In the right corner, where the page number would be, if this was the bottom of the page, there's 26 equals Z written neatly.
That's reasonable enough.
There's also a poem just before the tail line.
Ooh.
It's titled Drawing Last.
Okay.
Dani, would you like to read this poem?
Sure. Oh, it's got some wild enjambment here.
Sorry, what was that?
Wild enjambment.
Enjambment?
Enjambment.
What's enjambment?
The way that a poem lines itself and moves on to the next
I thought
line.
you just invented
Whoa,
a
cool.
nonsense word, like the nonsense person you are.
But it's so wild that I will sound like Shatner if I try to do it that way, but I can if you like.
No,
Yeah, that
it's
sounds good.
done.
At last my time is, here I arrived last night. We saw each other from afar. We knew what this was. But we have known there's no escaping any bit. It's so wild, it most certainly is important. Drawing last, do you think we need to find last letters of this poem? I'm gonna say perhaps not, based on what I'm actually seeing. That immediately starts with TSTW. It's not that likely. At last my time is here. I arrived last night. We saw each other from afar. We knew what this was, but we have known there's no escaping any bit. Any bit at the end is particularly strangely worded, and yet the line spacing is so peculiar. It's got to be important.
Yeah, the first line is just like
At.
2 letters. It's just at.
Yep. But if it's related to 26 equals Z, not impossible, but I don't know what to do with that without translating every letter into numbers, and that seems wild.
Yeah.
Matt, tell me what I should be looking for here.
I mean, do we need to count how many letters are on each line or something? Does that seem like a thing? Would that do anything?
Counting letters on each time.
Drawing last.
Not impossible. Be a bit annoying because there's a lot of letters and counting letters is a pain, but not impossible. Could be words as well. That would be A, D.
Yeah, those numbers might be too small.
E,
Nothing bigger
yeah.
than like 4 or 5.
But if it is letters, what would that be?
What would it be?
Well, at is just 2 letters, so B. Now give me a second. Last my time is sounds like 12. The 12th letter is L, so it's plausible. I can tell you the numbers of letters. And you can translate those numbers to letters if you like.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we've got BL, and now the third line. 21,
Okay.
5, 19, 15, 3. I think I didn't skip any there. 11, 19, 3. BL, 21, 5, 19, 15, 3, 11, 19, 3.
So what are these going to end up at? What's 21? Matt is trying to count.
Oh yeah, stop it.
Trying to count. Maybe he's at 15. Maybe he's at 3.
I know
maybe it's 9 or 7. It could be 16, 15,
It's you.
20. What?
Yeah, I know a couple of key letters. I know that M is 13, O is 15, and T is 20. So those are my starting points.
Ah.
I always go P is 16 for some reason.
Interesting. Okay, so 5, I also know is E. So far we have spelled blue. Don't know what we've noticed that's blue so far, but that's okay. It's something. 19.
I got blue sock SC. Do you think that seems correct? I feel like maybe I've goofed or missed a number that you told me.
Yeah, not wrong. Blue socks C.
Blue socks C.
We know that we've seen his clothes before, so I guess we look for some blue socks and see if he labels them A, B, and C. With, his 3 blue socks.
You start looking through all of his socks. They don't seem to be labeled A, B, C or anything like that. But they do all. He's a guy who likes pineapples on his socks, or he likes
Nice.
or
That's
like
cute.
stars on his socks, or
Okay.
they all have different images and shapes on them.
Any of them start with C or look like the letter C.
None of them. Well,
croissant.
the bananas probably look a little bit like letter C, and there's one with capybaras on it. I suppose they start with a
That's a
C,
C.
but
Yeah.
there's nothing that matches the letter C.
Are they all blue?
You get to just the blue section. He has a lot of socks.
Yeah.
And they have all these different designs on them. There's, the classic fruits and stars and dinosaurs. There's like, there's one that's all these like whales with little bubbles coming out and fish and all this other stuff. There's another pair that's a bunch of skull and crossbones. And there's another one that's...
Maybe the whales are fish because they're in the sea.
They are in the sea. The blue sea socks. That's what you look at.
No. Okay.
You unroll them, and a piece of paper spills out. It's the
What?
other half of page 12.
Hey.
Oh, that's perfect.
There is no 12.
Thank
There
you,
is
Matt.
no
I was
circled.
not getting that.
There is no circled number 12 on this one. That's already on the page that's in the diary. So it's different from the other pages you found because of that.
Right.
This other half is covered with a sketch. It looks like a small section of rocky alcove from a bird's eye view. There's two jagged lines next to each other running along the middle and the bottom of the sketch.
Does this somehow match up with that draw line?
You take it over to the drawer to see if it matches up. You've already noted that the drawer seems to match the coastline that you can see below. This little section you found of a rocky alcove seen from above, the line next to it, the jagged line, it matches right up to one of the parts of this section of the line. It seems to slide right into place.
Intriguing. So, like, can we put the rest of page 12 and, like, fit it all together like that?
Nothing
or...
that seems to help. It just sits on, this part of page 12 lines up with one particular section of this drawer's line and shows a rocky alcove.
Should we go out and look at the real rocky alcove and see
That
what's
makes sense.
there?
You go
In
out
that
and you
spot?
look at the real rocky alcove line. With the details on that drawing matching up to effectively a map of the coastline, you look out at exactly that spot to see if you can spot where the alcove should be. I mean, Captain Feldman mentioned it in one of his notes. Oh, look, you look a little further out on the shore, as if where it would appear at a low tide.
Oh, of course. He
You
said
look-
that.
You look down the shore and you spot it. It's partially covered by water at the moment, but you can see the rocks make up this little alcove poking out. And you also see Captain Feldman.
Hey.
Oh boy.
He's splayed out on those rocks, face down,
Oh dear.
rising up and down every so often when the
Hey.
waves reach over the top of the alcove.
Good
Great. Great.
Looks like he hasn't been seen because he's been dead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Someone probably should have checked for that. Well, mission accomplished, question mark. Now, what's left for us to do except use the radio to contact this suspicious pirate coast guard? So we still haven't done anything with those interesting drawings.
Yeah, what were
Or
those?
the tuna.
The tuna?
In
the
the
tuna
fridge.
and the pickles.
Oh, I thought you meant the tuna on the radio.
Wait,
why was- oh.
And also we don't know why there's a fake name, right? Or why
No,
there's two
not
names?
really. Except that something was definitely sus. He was talking about some very shady dealings and getting away with things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, I think it's maybe not the worst time to think about what you found out.
Mm.
He looks like he was dealing with the FBI with recorded confessions.
Yes. So is this the sort of place that someone goes to in witness protection?
I mean, he does have a new name, and if I was going to send a witness into protection, putting him in a lonely lighthouse tower where no one interacts with him too often is not the worst idea.
That sounds terrifying for me. I would want to feel safe as a witness in witness protection, surrounded by too many people. That's interesting stuff. And then the Rhode Island evil Coast Guard has been after him in some fashion. Or they're the only ones who are trying to save him, and it's the main Coast Guard that we haven't even seen in this entire
Yeah.
adventure that's been quite problematic. Also, a big bluff is related. It has been mentioned. I've not written many words down from his diary entries, but the ones that I found important were alcove, and on a separate one on page 7, big bluff. So,
Yeah, I wonder if that's him pretending to be somebody else or if there's an actual big bluff outside we should be looking at.
exactly. Should we be looking for a big bluff, or does he look like he's faking death?
I think the death is real. It looks like, based on what you found, we're sort of piecing it together.
Yeah.
He was a witness. Looking back through some of these diary notes, you seem that it looks like he was reporting on the Rhode Island Coast Guard, exposing some kind of corruption or fraud in there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you think back to the people who sent you on this mission. They seem to be wearing Rhode Island Coast Guard patches, even
Yeah.
though you were in Maine.
Right.
They said they'd investigated the light, but it seemed
But
to
they
be
hadn't.
working. You're not sure if you trust these people anymore, and you don't maybe want to radio them to get you out of here.
Certainly not.
You don't know what they might do to you if they discover that you found Feldman's body, but also a bunch of his old notes and evidence.
Yeah.
You might need to find a different way out of here.
Intriguing. All right. So it feels like we shouldn't jump off the balcony because it
Probably
didn't go
not.
so well for Feldman. But it is a way out.
Well, they also did say to radio them for a boat.
Yes.
There might be someone else you can radio, but
It's
you don't
not
know who.
impossible. So taking a look, things we haven't necessarily used yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly that big piece of paper that had all the drawings on it.
You had those 5 drawings,
The lighthouse sailboat, scales with dot, book, and
Right.
cassette.
and there's one other little thing that you haven't really that's been noted, but you've never really made hasn't been relevant so far.
Well, that's upsetting. Page numbers?
They have been circled quite conspicuously, those page numbers of the ones that you
I
found.
have circled them, and we have found 5 of them
Yeah.
that were loose around the room. Is that dot? Is that dot like consistent with frequencies, like where a dot might be in a frequency that we're trying to reach?
So you're talking about the dot next to the scale.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have a look, and a lot of the frequencies that you might be able to radio are like 297.61 or 352.18, etc., etc. So
I'm
format-wise, that
glad
makes some sense.
We spotted that dot. Okay. So now we need to go back. So page 1, 3, 5, 6, and
6, 7.
7. Okay, we need to, I guess, know what they were about again.
Yep.
Sure, I will try and find them. It is.
So 7 was about the big bluff, but
I'll just go in order, shall I? 1, 3, 5,
Sure.
6, 7. All right, number 1. So you look at that circled page, number 1. Feldman seems incredibly calm and hopeful. He goes on and on about his dreams for the future, the peace and freedom he feels up in this lighthouse. A lot of the entries, Feldman simply appreciating the view. At least someone enjoys being out here.
all right. Does that feel like it's just the lighthouse picture?
I think so.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, page 3.
So this page has an incredibly cocky tone. Feldman was definitely feeling an abundance of confidence. He talks about the FBI, something about written confessions and audio tapes, and a fellow witness he convinced to talk.
All right, are we
That cassette
thinking
tape.
cassette tape feels reasonable?
Lovely, so
Yeah.
that's the final picture.
Okay.
Number 5. It seems to be Captain Feldman nervously rambling. You don't know what he's talking about, but there are some mentions of the FBI and the government. He mentions his duty and following the law. For a moment, it gets philosophical, with Feldman discussing the effectiveness of justice and fairness.
Interesting.
Then it goes into a childlike tantrum, with him ranting about it all not being fair.
You mentioned the scales being like a justice-y thing, didn't
That's
you?
right.
I'm glad you know that.
All right, number 6 next, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You can hardly understand anything Feldman is saying. There are way too many mentions of conspiracy theories for your comfort. Every few sentences, he goes off on a tangent and you lose his train of thought pretty quickly. There's a lot of talk about boats and radio chatter. This whole page is the written version of the red string clue boards the crazy people have in their basements.
All right, well, that seems helpful enough. Boat.
And what would you expect to see in number 7?
Book.
Book.
One moment, Feldman will ramble about all the new things he needs to learn and how it's all too much. The next moment, he talks about how thankful he is. Then he gets nostalgic and lists everything he misses. His books, his dog, etc. Then he goes back to celebrating the success of his big bluff.
We did it. We cracked the case.
You cracked. So what are you going to put onto the radio?
165.73.
You tune into 16573. You pick up the speaker and you say, "Hello, hello!
Big bluff! Big bluff!
Is anyone there?" There's a lot of white noise, but you can make out a faint voice responding. KXO983 hears you. What are your coordinates, Captain? I'm no captain, you say. I'm Detective Player's name. I'm at Bluffer's Point Lighthouse. Can I get a ride out of here? You explain that your first ride might now be suspect in a murder case. There's a pause, and he seems a bit confused, or maybe you've just startled him, but he agrees.
Okay.
So
Nice.
you've got a ride off the lighthouse and enough evidence collected, but the door's jammed.
Yeah, I thought of
yeah.
that.
Well,
Good.
good thing we took apart that bed and we can hit the door with it. We can build
What?
a ladder to get down the lighthouse. We can build a fire.
Oh, can we build a ladder out of bed?
No, but
We can kill the beast. Kill the beast.
it's not quite
With a
as
log?
good. It's not quite good for a battering ram, but they are long and sturdy and somewhat thin. They're slats of a bed.
Oh, we can lever with them?
You try to lever with them. You use the
We're
bed
gonna
frame to
lever it.
pry open the door, and it flies open easily. You wonder if you even needed to pry it open. Actually, you never really tried it. You just looked at it. Maybe you just weren't pulling hard enough. Whatever. It doesn't matter now. You're getting out of here before someone comes looking for you.
I was going to use the broken fridge handle.
Or for all of the evidence, and you are out of the room. Congratulations.
We did it.
Excellent.
Thank you for listening to Escape This Podcast. Don't forget to tune in next week for Podcast This Escape, where we debrief with our guest and discuss the escape room that we just escaped from.